One tablet twice a day.
Oh, darling!
Yes.
Have you had any breakfast?
No.
Do you want a nice little egg?
No, thank you.
All right, I'll get his coffee then. It was really very good of you to drive him back home.
Well, he's in no fit state, is he? You know, I must admit, I quite enjoyed sitting behind the wheel of his taxi. The lovely feeling of power, driving along with the light on, ignoring people trying to wave me down.
I'm most grateful.
Well, it's the least we could do. Your husband's a hero, aren't you, Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Oh, it's so unlike him to do anything spectacular.
Well, you had to go, Mrs. Smith, didn't you?
Yes.
He's a silly fool.
I won't stay long, sir. I'd just like to clarify a couple of points.
Right.
Now then, last night approximately 2,300 hours. That's 11 p.m. You were driving your taxi. It is your taxi, sir. You are the proprietor, as it were, the owner-driver.
Excuse me, what time is it?
Well, it's a 8:45, sir.
8:45?
Yes, sir. Now, back to 11 p.m. last night, sir, when you got involved with this mugging incident.
Mugging, yes.
Yes, yes. You were driving home to Wimbledon with an empty cab.
8:45 in the morning?
Yes, that's right. And as you were passing Wimbledon Underground Station, you saw an old lady struggling with two youths.
Wednesday morning?
Yes, sir.
Oh, what happened to Tuesday night?
Well, half of it you spent at Wimbledon Police Station and half at Wimbledon Hospital.
Schedule.
Beg your pardon?
I think I'm out on my schedule.
Well, I'm not surprised.
This is Wimbledon.
Yes?
That was Mary.
Yes, she's just making some coffee. Now, Wimbledon Underground Station, two youths attempting to relieve an old lady of her handbag.
Barbara, 7:30 a.m.
No. Doreen Spinks, 2,300 hours. Mrs. Spinks is struggling with two youths. You stop your taxi and rush to her assistance.
Oh, John! You might have got yourself killed!
Hold on a sec, I'm trying to work something out.
You're going to bed, that's what you're doing. He's really in no fit state to be answering questions. How come you didn't sort all this out last night?
Because your husband wasn't very cooperative last night. To start with, he wouldn't tell us who he was. And then he wouldn't tell us where he lived. And what with this hysterical old girl and Mr. Smith fainting every 5 minutes.
John.
Well, it was quite a to-do. So I just have a couple of more questions, sir, and then I'll be off.
Right, my taxi is outside, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good.
Now, you intervened in the struggle.
Yes.
Silly fool!
Oh, now, Mrs. Smith.
Well, he went and got himself attacked by these two brutes.
No, I didn't. The old lady hit me with her handbag.
What? Silly cow!
Mrs.
She
Smith?
thought I was with the two blokes, you see.
Yes, now we know that, Mr. Smith. Now, the two youths ran off.
Yes, down Wimbledon High Street.
Okay, now, can you give us a description?
It's a main road with shops on both sides.
No, of the two youths,
But it was so
sir.
quick. Oh, the old lady belting me about the head and me trying to explain I was just a passing taxi
You
driver.
should mind your own business. Excuse me, Sergeant.
Right. Is that all? Because I'd really like to be off.
Oh, there is one tiny point, sir.
Oh, yes?
Yeah, a slight confusion. See, at Wimbledon Police Station, you gave your address when you finally agreed to volunteer that information and in between fainting. You gave your address as here, 25 Kenilworth Avenue, Wimbledon, SW19.
Yes?
But the hospital somehow seems to have gotten your address as 47 Lewin Road, Streatham, SW16.
Have they?
Yes, sir. Now, you haven't got two homes, have you?
No.
No. I mean, it's not as though Streatham's in the south of France, is it?
No.
Yeah. So it was probably a mistake on the part of the hospital.
Yes, late at night, very rushed, understaffed. And the young doctor in casualty, nice fellow, but English not too hot. Maybe he sort of got a bit confused. I probably sounded rather slurred too. What the bang on the head, yes. And he mistakes that for 47 Lewin Road, Streatham, SW16.
Yes, sir.
It's Stanley.
You all right, old boy?
Oh, I'm fine.
Well, you look bloody awful. Stanley Gardner, got the flat upstairs. You the fuzz, are you?
Detective Sergeant Trotton, Wimbledon Police.
Oh, jolly good. Now, the milkman told me all about it. Said you'd had a punch-up with half a dozen skinheads wielding bicycle chains.
I was hit with a handbag, if you must know.
Oh, gay skinhead.
That's rather new, isn't it, Sergeant?
Are you a friend of the family, sir?
I most certainly am. I've been borrowing the odd tenner off of John for the last few years now, haven't I?
Yes, you have.
Yes, I have. And in the next few years, I'll probably start paying it back. So the milkman's got it wrong, has he?
He was very brave. He went and got himself a bag on the head, trying to save an old lady from 2 muggers.
You didn't! Oh, sorry.
Oh, there's hardly anything there now.
Well, there never was much. He's such a harmless old git, normally.
Aren't you going to be late for work, sir?
Work?
Why, I'm one of the government's vital statistics.
I beg your pardon.
I'm temporarily unemployed.
I see.
Only I'm considering making it permanent.
Really?
Yes, the hours are good.
Well, I don't have any more questions, sir. You take your wife's advice and rest up for a bit.
Yes, you rest up, John. Let the sergeant get back to his duties. Do you know, Sergeant, there's a man knocked down in Wimbledon every 5 minutes.
Really?
Yes. He's getting bloody fed up with it, too.
If there were more people around like your friend here, we'd have a lower crime rate.
Of course.
Now, he may have caused you some concern, Mrs. Smith. Like I said, your husband's a hero. I expect you'll have the press boys onto you.
Press?
And I'll just give you the telephone number of the station in case you remember anything more about those 2 villains. Now, you can call me anytime or speak to one of my men.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Good morning, Mr. Smith. Mrs. Smith.
I'll see you out.
Morning, sir.
Don't you worry, Sergeant. I don't believe half the things I read about you boys in the papers.
Gardner, was it, sir?
Yes, but you can call me Stanley.
I know what I'd call you, sir.
Quite morning already, and we haven't even had breakfast. Thanks. Smith residence? No, I'm not. Yes, he is, but he's incapacitated at the moment. UPI? What's that?
Who is it?
It's UPI. Shh. Yes, that's fine. Flat A, 25 Kenilworth Avenue, Wimbledon, SW19. Yes, all right. That was UPI.
What's that mean?
United Press International.
Press?
Yes, it's sort of an agency that doles out stuff to all the papers.
You gave them my address.
Well, yes, that sergeant was right. You're going to be a hero.
I won't see them.
Why on earth not? It's just an interview, probably a photograph.
Photograph! I am not seeing anybody, Mary.
What?
The press have just been on the phone. They're sending somebody over.
No, they've got a damn cheek.
Oh, the hospital gave me some tablets. I'll get one now.
I'm still not seeing anybody, Mary.
Just take it easy, old boy. Just relax.
Oh, Stanley, you don't understand.
Well, you're right there. Blimey, when you think of half the rubbish that papers print these days, you deserve to be on the front page.
But Stanley, nothing must be said about me in the newspapers. You'll have to deal with them when they get here. Say it wasn't me. Say it was you. Say anything.
What the hell are you talking about?
It would ruin me.
What, if the story appears in the papers?
Yes, I'll be ruined with Barbara. Oh.
Why should you be ruined with ba 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 ba? Who's Barbara?
She's a lady. A lady?
You naughty, naughty Johnny! So Barbara's a bit on the side, is she?
There's more to Barbara than that.
Oh, so Barbara's got a big bit, eh? Lovely. Honk, honk, honk. Honk, honk.
Stanley, all hell would be let loose if Barbara were to read anything in the newspapers about me and Mary living in Wimbledon. Why? Because I live with Barbara in Streatham.
No, old boy. You live with Mary in Wimbledon.
That too.
You've got 2 homes.
Yes.
One here with Mary.
Yes.
And one with your girlfriend in Streatham.
Yes, only Barbara's not my girlfriend.
Well, what is she, a Shetland pony?
She's my wife.
Beg your pardon?
Barbara and I are married.
Mary and you are married.
That too.
You got 2 wives?
Yes.
And 2 homes?
Yes.
Good Lord, I thought you were ordinary.
Yes.
I can't believe it.
Well, I think I've always been a bit surprised myself.
What, you sort of flit between Wimbledon and Streatham like some sort of oversexed bumblebee, do you?
Sort of.
Well, blimey, Streatham, it's practically next door.
Yeah, 4.5 minutes in the taxi.
Good Lord.
Sounds quite handy, actually.
Yes.
But I mean, driving a taxi is not like an ordinary job, is it? Unusual hours. Morning shift, afternoon shift, evening shift, night shift.
I suppose we should be grateful you're not a Concorde pilot. What about the expense? It must cost a fortune.
Not really. Both Mary and Barbara work, and then I don't need much pocket money.
We've got no time to spend it.
Well, I'm either driving the taxi and rushing to get to bed with Mary, or driving the taxi and rushing to get back to bed with Barbara. Yes!
What do you do on your days off?
Sleep a lot.
Yes. Now, you did actually marry both of them, did you?
Oh, yes. Mary was the first. That was a lovely wedding in a church. I met Barbara 4 months later.
Oh, my!
She just got into my taxi at Victoria Station. She'd been to Worthing on holiday, and we started chatting between Victoria and Streatham, where she had this little flat. I helped her take her cases up, and we chatted some more. And then she asked me if I'd like a cup of tea. And I said yes, and we chatted some more. And then she asked me if I'd like to come to tea the next day. And I said yes, and so I did. And the next
You
day...
know,
we
it's
were
a
chat-
shame you didn't mention Mary when you were doing all this bloody chatting.
Yes, well, one cup of tea led to another, and I sort of got carried away, I suppose. And having not mentioned Mary in the first place, I didn't know how to bring it up afterwards.
So you asked Barbara to marry you?
No. She asked me.
Oh, good Lord!
I didn't have the heart to say no. So we got married at Streatham Registry Office.
And you moved in with Barbara?
Yes.
While still living here with Mary?
Yes.
You've committed bigamy. That's what you've done.
Well, sort of.
No, not sort of. 100% bigamy. It's a criminal offense. You could go to jail. Doesn't that worry you?
Well, I've been too busy to think about it.
I don't know how you cope.
It needs a very tight schedule.
And a hell of a stamina. I don't know how you manage it. I can only just find the energy to satisfy the girlfriend and go sign on to the labor exchange.
I've got to get back to Barbara right away. I'm always bang on time.
I can see why you need that schedule now.
I was due back at 7:30 this morning from the early shift.
With Barbara and Streatham.
Yes.
What are all these letters?
Well, I have a sort of code to back up my schedule.
SWM.
Saturday with Mary,
HDB.
half day Barbara,
LNBEMM.
late night Barbara, early morning Mary.
CAT.
Oh, that's to remind me to take the cat to the vet.
Oh, here you are, precious. One little tablet to calm you down.
Well, in that case, you better take the whole lot.
Just one. And then it's bed for you, my boy.
Oh, I can't.
Yes, you can. He's had a shock, hasn't he, Stanley?
I think we all have.
I can't afford to miss a day's business.
You're in no fit state to be driving.
I'll just put in half a day.
No, Stanley, sometimes I think he has the energy for 2 people.
Yes. Ow!
Right, no, I'll just go get your lunchbox.
No, don't bother. I want to get back on the road.
No, I'm not letting you go without your lunchbox.
Oh, you'll make yourself late for work.
Oh, I've decided I won't go into the office today.
Oh, won't you?
It's about time you did something about a job, Stanley.
I'm thinking of taking up taxi driving, actually. Yes, I'm beginning to see its attractions.
Don't be so damn clever. You'll put your foot in it.
I'm sorry, but I'm just beginning to see you through new eyes. You randy devil.
Go and keep Mary chatting while I speak to Barbara.
Barbara?
I can't let her go off to work without knowing I'm okay.
Oh, bloody hell.
Oh, this business has thrown me right out of gear. Now go and make sure Mary doesn't come in.
Oh, this is living.
Hello?
Oh, hello, darling.
Love bug, where are you? You're an hour and a half late.
Oh, I'm sorry, my sweet. A taxi broke down.
Oh, why didn't you ring earlier?
I couldn't get to a phone. I took a passenger to Gatwick Airport and conked out halfway back.
Where are you phoning from now?
I'm, in a farmer's cottage. Miles away from anywhere, somewhere off the A23.
What's the matter with your voice?
I don't want to wake the farmer's wife.
Are you all right? You haven't had an accident, have you?
No, I'm just a bit sort of flustered, that's all.
I suck!
Hold on, the farmer has just come in.
Farmer?
Hold on a second, Pumpkin.
Pumpkin! Ha ha!
What do you want? want?
I've got a message from your number one.
What is it?
Still there, Johnny?
Yes, the farmer is just asking me something. What do you want?
So Mary wants to know if you want cheese and pickle or eggs and tomato or both.
I don't care.
But wouldn't you like to ask your number two what she's giving you for dinner first?
One of each.
And a flask of tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee?
Sorry, darling. I was speaking to the farmer. He's a bit, you know what country folk are like.
Coffee and sandwiches coming up, sir.
The farmer was just telling me that the garage has fixed the taxi. I'd better go, my sweet. I wanted to catch you before you left for the office.
No, I'm not going in today.
Aren't you?
No, I'm not. You're taking the day off too.
Am I?
Yes, it's been planned for ages. Just the two of us. Lazing around.
Oh, yes, CDWB.
CDWP?
Cuddly Day with Barbara.
Oh, silly boy. You hadn't forgotten about it, had you?
Oh, no, damn taxi breaking down has thrown me, that's all.
Well, you hurry up back home.
Oh, yes, I'll be 4.5 minutes.
4.5 minutes.
Yes, I can cut off the A23 onto the M23 and be in Streatham in a flash. Say, 10 minutes.
Will you drive carefully? I want you all in one big piece.
Yes.
Oh, are you feeling just a little bit sexy?
Just a little bit. Oh, hang on, the doorbell is going.
So what?
Oh, nothing. It's nothing to do with me. Stay where you are, I'll get it. Okay, my darling, I'm on my way right now. Keep everything warm. Bye.
Oh, John!
Yes?
You better ring the police at Streatham.
Oh, the police.
Should I?
Oh, why should either of us ring the police?
Well, I reported you missing this morning.
Missing?
Yes.
Stay where you are and don't do anything. Oh, I'll get it. Oh.
What's that, darling?
Get back into the kitchen, woman!
What?
I thought I heard John call out. Oh. Hello.
Hello?
Were you talking?
Yes, it's all right. I'm hanging on for him.
Hanging on for who?
For me!
My husband.
It's a damn nuisance not having my own phone upstairs. John said it would be okay. It's about a job.
Oh, good.
Hello?
Hello?
Thanks for holding. Stanley Gardner here.
Are you the farmer?
Yes, that's me, dear. You want to talk to me, I believe.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, well, fire away. I'm open to offers.
I beg your pardon.
Don't let the coffee boil over.
No,
Mr. Gardner.
Yes, I'm interested. Yeah, very interested. Yeah.
Interested in what?
In it? Sorry about that. Can Mr. Smith ring you back?
I'd rather hang on if you don't mind. Oh, Mr. Smith is all right, isn't he?
Oh, yes, he's fine. He's just a bit concussed, is all.
Concussed?
But the country air is doing him good.
What happened? John didn't say he was hurt.
Oh, he didn't?
No, he said the taxi broke down.
Yes, it did.
Well, how did he get concussed?
He bumped his head.
His head.
Yes, on one of our little beams.
No.
Yes, I'm afraid they're solid 16th century oak.
No, it's a damn newspaper, man. Will you read this?
Hello?
United Press International. Get rid of them for me, will you?
Hello?
Hello, darling. I thought I put you down.
John, are you hurt?
Hurt?
Your head.
Oh, yes,
So the
well...
farmer said you'd begged torn of his beams.
Oh, the farmer should keep his bloody trap shut.
Well, should I come over to Mr. Gardner's farm and collect you?
No, I'm fine. What were you saying just now about the police?
I stepped straight, please.
Here you are.
Oh, well, if you hang on for a moment, I'll get the farmer for you.
I don't want the farmer.
Oh, fine. Mr. Gardner will be with you in a moment.
Is that Stanley's call?
Yes.
About a job?
Yes.
You just said something about a farmer.
Yes. It's a lady who owns a farm. She thinks Stanley is looking for a job as a farmer.
A farmer? Why?
Well, his last name's Gardner, and she thinks he's a market gardener. She's gotten a bit confused.
Are you there?
Yes, he won't be a moment. I think he could be interested if he doesn't have to start too early in the morning.
No, Mrs. Castle! I'm just trying to do my job, mate! I want a picture!
I told you he doesn't want any bloody
Publicity! And I'm telling you, useless, no! Are you Mrs. Smith?
Yes, John!
farmer speaking.
Where's my husband?
He's gone to the toilet.
Accident.
No, I'm sure he made it in time. No, look, I really have to go because the cows need milking.
Mr. Gardner, I'd like to speak to my husband, please.
Well, you'll have to shout. Our toilet's at the other end of the barley field.
Tell him to ring the straight back.
Yes, all right. Let me get something to write with.
He knows the number.
Yes?
674-3105.
674-3105.
That's 0208 from where you are.
No, it's not.
From outside London.
Yes, it is!
I'd like him to ring me back right away.
Yes, well, he may have gone to the toilet and driven straight off.
Well, I want to know what to do about the police.
Please!
Oh, I suppose I better ring them and say he's all right.
No, don't do anything!
I must go.
No, don't go anywhere!
Limit it!
I have to go now because the chickens are coming home to roost.
Hit him!
What, that would hold hit John?
Oh, no, John hit him!
Where's John now?
I don't know. He got in this taxi and he just drove off.
Oh, bloody hell!
I hope he's not chasing that poor reporter.
Oh, no, he's probably just gone round to Bob.
Oh, gone round where?
Round the bin.
Right. Well, I'll get dressed first and then I'll sort John out.
I'm sorry if I've called at an inopportune moment, Mrs. Smith.
Oh, quite all right. Is it about my husband?
Yes, indeed. You spoke to me earlier at Streatham Police, Detective Sergeant Porterhouse.
Excuse me.
No, go.
Do sit down, will you?
Oh, thank you. It's the farmer again. Look, I have to be quick because the pig's in fold.
I want to speak to Mr. Smith.
Yes, he'll be with you in just one moment. So whatever you do, don't contact the police.
Oh, there's a police sergeant here now.
What? Tell the police it's all right.
Police!
No, I'm not interested in joining the police force, thanks.
Police force?
No, if the farming job's still vacant, I'd rather go for that. Bloody job center, I ask you. Policeman.
Right, well, I think the bumps on his head have done more damage than we realized. I'm going to find John.
Anything the matter, Mrs. Smith?
No, I didn't think so.
Now, you spoke to me earlier concerning your husband, and we've done a check on all the nearby hospitals.
Oh, it's all right. I've contacted him.
Oh, good. But there's still one or two things that checked out.
Hello, darling. Oh, sorry, I'm a bit late.
Oh, how on earth did you get here so quickly?
No traffic.
Oh, darling, you're...
Oh, it's nothing.
John, this gentleman from Streatham Police.
Streatham Police.
Detective Sergeant Porterhouse.
Oh, jolly good. Well, I'm back now, safe and sound, fit as a fiddle. Thanks for calling.
And if I could just clear him back. Couple of points, sir.
Oh, actually, I'm not feeling too well. Banged the old head, you know.
Yes, a handbag, wasn't it?
Handbag?
Handbag.
Yes, John Smith, Casualty Department, the Wimbledon Hospital, concussion and bruising, cause of damage, ladies' handbag.
Johnny!
What a coincidence!
Coincidence, sir.
Two John Smiths, both getting their heads bashed on the same day.
Oh, this one's not you then.
No, mind you, John Smith, a common name. You can see this fella's not me. This bloke got involved with two muggers, an old lady, and a handbag. I banged my head on an old oak beam.
So you weren't in Wimbledon in the early hours of this morning, driving a taxi?
Taxi?
Yes, it says here, this bloke's occupation is a taxi driver.
No!
What a coincidence! Oh, well.
Yes.
Oh, you can see that it says here that this fellow was released from Wimbledon Hospital at 8:30 a.m. this morning.
That's right.
Couldn't be me then. I was in the country at that time. I thank you, didn't I, darling, from the farm?
Yes. Oh, there's something peculiar about that farm, though.
Yes, it was a bit of a funny farm. Thanks for going to all this trouble, Sergeant.
Well, there is one other thing, sir.
Yes.
Our colleagues in the Wimbledon force took this other Mr. Smith home to an address in Wimbledon.
He probably lives in Wimbledon.
Yes, but somehow or other, the hospital have his address in their records as 47 Lewin Road, Streatham, SW16.
But that's our address, John.
Now that is a coincidence.
Well, that's what I thought.
Oh, of course!
Yes, sir.
The reason Wimbledon Hospital has this other Mr. Smith's address as mine here is because I was in the hospital a couple of days ago and I got their records confused.
Oh, you didn't mention it, Pumpkin.
Oh, well, it wasn't serious, Pumpkin. I just nipped into their casualty department, banged my head under the taxi bonnet, checking the plugs.
You don't look with your head, don't you?
Yes, I am always doing it. I was in and out of the place in 5 minutes. It was nothing. But of course, they took down all of my particulars. That explains it, doesn't it?
Does it?
Yes. The hospital has both my address from the other day and the address of the other Mr. Smith from this morning. Naturally, the other Mr. Smith asks the police to take him to an address in Wimbledon where he lives. But when the hospital is asked for the other Mr. Smith's address, they look at the wrong page in my casualty book and see John Smith, taxi driver, nature of injury, operation of the cranium, and give you my address in Streatham, not realizing that on the very next page is the address of the other Mr. Smith, taxi driver, nature of injury, operation of the cranium, and give you my address in Streatham. Oh.
Well, I guess that explains it all then.
Yes! You can close that file.
Oh, I'm sorry I put you to all this trouble, Sergeant.
Oh, all right, madam.
I'll see you out.
Oh, thank you. Oh, by the way, sir, your head.
Yes?
Oh, where did you have the injury treated?
Do you mean the taxi bonnet bashing or the oak beam bashing?
The oak beam, sir, your most recent misfortune. Which hospital treated that?
They didn't. No. The farmer's wife is an ex-nurse and she fixed it.
Ex-nurse, eh?
Yes, I always seem to fall on my feet.
Oh, good. I hope you always check what you've landed in.
You really shouldn't be driving, Stanley. I should have put my foot down.
Oh, he'll be all right.
I'm going to ring that Sergeant Troughton at Wimbledon Police.
I don't think you should do that.
Well, he left his number here, said we could talk to him or one of his men.
John will be very upset to involve the police, though.
I'm just worried what he might go and do. They should have kept him in hospital for observation.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Hello, it's Mary Smith speaking. Hello? Is that Wimbledon Police Station? Hello?
What's up?
I don't know. Somebody's answered. But all I can hear is funny creeping.
Hello, Stanley Gardner here. Hello? Well, it's still breathing anyway.
Hello? Anybody there?
Oh! Mary, which of these two numbers did you dial?
That one, 674-3105.
Now me! Hello? Stanley Gardner here. Come in, Wimbledon. It's Gardner to Wimbledon. Mayday, mayday, mayday!
What's going on?
Ah, there you are, Wimbledon. Trouble on the switchboard. Can I speak with one of the men?
Men?
Or the sergeant if he's there?
Have you flipped your bloody lid?
No, nothing like that. He's getting one of the men. Hello, Constable!
Constable, what in God's name are you playing at, Stanley?
I'm speaking on behalf of Mrs. Smith. She's very upset about her husband's behavior.
How the blazes did you get this number?
Let me talk to him. Hello, Constable. Will someone please get Detective Sergeant Troughton on the phone to me? Hello? This is bloody ridiculous. Stanley!
Darling! All right,
Oh, you
precious.
bet. Can't stay,
Oh,
no.
can't stay.
No, got to get back on the road.
Don't be silly. It's CWD.
Oh, yes.
Lovely day with Barbara.
Oh, no, can't do what's booked.
Why would you do that?
I don't want want us to be disturbed.
Oh, you want to have
No, not half, but I can't give in to it.
Yes, you can.
Oh, no, I didn't turn up heady last night. I ought to do one quick
Just
trip.
afterwards.
Well, I've got a bit of a headache, actually.
Oh, that's all the more reason for going to bed.
Well, no, I don't think that'd be good for me. Honestly, I don't.
Oh, you always said it clear anything.
Well, yes.
Especially headaches.
Yes, that's your headaches, not my headaches.
Come on. We'll soon get rid of that nasty old headache.
Well, as long as you let me go out afterwards.
Yes, well, I thought I ought to explain it to you, Sergeant.
Well, that's a dreadful bit of news.
Yes, you walked in right in the middle of the phone call. She was terribly devastated.
Oh, bound to be. Well, I'm glad you told me.
Well, it's always worse when you hear something like this.
Yes, yes. Both the grandparents, was it?
Yes, both.
Dear, oh dear.
Yes, dear, oh dear.
On a hiking holiday, too.
Yes. Both in their 80s, though.
Oh, still not a nice way to go. Over the side of a mountain.
No. It was quick, though.
Yes, the Canadian Rockies, you say?
Yes, the Canadian Rockies. You wanted to speak with Mr. Smith again, did you?
Oh, yes, I did, actually. Yes, it seems there was a bit of confusion over Mr. Smith's address.
Oh, is there?
Yes, as to whether it was in Wimbledon or Streatham.
Wimbledon or
Streatham, sir. Yes. Mr. Smith reckoned it was all a silly mistake on the part of the hospital.
Probably was.
No, it wasn't. When I got back to the station, they'd had Streatham police on to say that another John Smith was reported missing from that area. No. 47 Lewin Road, Streatham, SW16.
Good Lord.
And that's the same address as they had at the hospital.
Well, it is a puzzle, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Now, do you know the whereabouts of our Mr. Smith?
No, he's probably on the job.
What? Driving his taxi, you mean?
Yes.
Allow me to go pay a call on this other Mr. Smith.
Call on him?
Yes, in Streatham.
Do you really think you should?
Well, it's only in the next manor, sir.
But it's about outside your jurisdiction, though, isn't it?
Oh, now, just a social call, Mr. Gardner. Just a social call. Oh, Mr. Gardner!
Yes.
Do you know what an accessory is?
A handbag? Oh, an accessory, yes, I do, yes.
Good.
Hello? It's me again.
What the hell do you want now?
There's no use getting mad at me. I'm just the bloke who's got the flat upstairs.
Blimey, talk about fiddling while Rome burns. Oh, come on, what is it?
Trouton is on his way to see you.
Trouton?
The sergeant from this morning.
He's coming over to Streatham
To see John Smith.
Oh, bloody hell.
And Mary's rushed out looking after you.
Darling, yes, well, thanks for letting me know. And if I hear of anybody who's looking for that many cucumbers, I'll put them in touch.
Cucumbers?
I ask you, 2.5 acres of cucumbers.
Oh, was that Richard Farmer again?
Hello, John.
Come on. Ready, guys?
Oh, no, I've decided I am taking you out.
Out?
Yes, why not? I'll get your dress. We'll have lunch at that little bistro around the corner, a bottle of wine, and then back here to spend the afternoon in bed.
Ooh, and I'm ready for bed now.
Oh, no, let's tease ourselves a bit.
Hello?
It's Mr. Farmer again, the gardener.
No, very much. If my husband will be able to help you, cucumber just isn't his line.
No, it's potatoes, actually.
We don't want any potatoes.
But they're King Edward's.
I don't care whose they are. He's not into agriculture. Now, he's very grateful for your help this morning, but he's extremely busy.
Yes, I'm sure he's got his hands full, but this won't take a second.
Oh, come on, darling, quickly.
What about this Reggie Farmer?
Oh, time up again. You hurry up and get dressed in the bedroom. You really must stop ringing me up, Mr. Gardner.
It's about Mary.
Oh, yes, your Jersey cow. Yes, I remember.
Jersey cow?
Look, I'm trying to get out before Troughton turns up.
I'm worried about Mary.
I'm worried about everything.
Well, she's rushed out looking for you.
Oh, well, I can't do anything about that now, can I?
She may have gone round to Wimbledon Police to see Sergeant Troughton.
Yes, well, cows are funny animals, aren't they? Hey,
What's it all about now?
it's all right.
Wimbledon Police may tell Mary that Sergeant Troughton's gone looking for you.
Yes, well, that would really put the bull amongst the cows, wouldn't it? I'm rushing out now, so I can't really discuss it any further. Naturally, anything you can do to keep the cow and the bull apart, you do it.
I'll get dressed and see if I can find Mary.
Oh, thank you. In the meantime, just keep a very close watch on your bullocks. Oh, he's in a right state. All the Staffordshire bulls are having a go at his Jersey cow. Right, darling, off we go. We'll have a nice long lunch, bottle of wine, and then back here to spend the afternoon in bed. Oh!
What is it?
That might be the police again.
Well, that's all right, isn't it?
Different policemen, I mean. Oh, tell you what, I'll sneak down the back stairs and meet you outside the restaurant.
Darling!
If it's the police, just confirm what's happened to me down at the farm, and if they want to see me, they'll have to make an appointment.
Oh, are you sure your head's all right?
I'm not sure of anything at the moment. I'll see you outside the restaurant. You'll recognize me. I'll be wearing exactly what I'm wearing now.
Mary! 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 Oh my God, I sound like a bloody nursery rhyme.
Just what, actually?
I'm so sorry, lovey.
It's no trouble. Honestly.
You see, we were just moving in upstairs, and we don't seem to have a thing in the flat.
No problem.
Although you think that dizzy bitch could have remembered to get milk, wouldn't you?
But how about sugar and tea?
No, he's got those all right. Ooh. Mrs. Tracy.
Are you short of anything else up there?
Only decorators, darling. We're up to our armpits in paint.
I'm afraid that's not my line.
It's not Cyril's either. He won't lift a finger, lazy queen.
I'm Barbara Smith, by the way.
Bobby Franklin. I'd like to say that I won't be a nuisance again, but knowing me, I probably will.
Anytime.
Oh, for God's sake, don't encourage me. I thrive on familiarity.
Did you help? Oh, my husband. He's handling most things.
Can he?
Yes, he's a bit of a handyman.
Well, if he's also young and handsome, for God's sake, don't let my Cyril get at him.
Okay. Hang on a sec.
Thanks ever so.
Oh my God! The taxi driver has a go at muggers with a picture on the front page. Oh, I have to tell John.
I say, do you and Cyril like homemade cake?
Anything but fairy.
Chocolate?
Yes. To hell with the diet. Hello.
Who's that?
Bobby Franklin. I've got the flat upstairs.
Oh, I hope you're having a better time than I am.
I wouldn't know about that. I'll get Mrs. Smith for you.
No, it's Mr. Smith I want.
Oh, he's not in.
Well, that's good. At least I think it's good. Look, he didn't sort of rush out in a state or anything, did he?
I don't know how he left.
No. Well, there aren't any police around there, are there?
Is this a phone-in on Capital Radio?
No.
Well, I'll get Mrs. Smith for you then.
No, she's probably had enough of me and my King Edwards.
Well, would you like to leave a message?
No. But Mrs. Smith hasn't got a standard floating around there anywhere, does she?
Standard. Floating.
Newspaper! Evening Standard!
Oh, no, I wouldn't know. A bit early, isn't it?
First edition! Well, she doesn't want to get it. It's a dreadful paper.
Yes, all right.
Don't you get it either!
I won't. Are you doing some sort of market research?
No! But if you see Mr. Smith, tell him that Mr. Gardner rang.
Gardner.
Yes, and tell him that things aren't too good down on the farm.
Here we are.
Ooh, scrummy. I answered your telephone.
Oh, thanks. A message.
Oh, King Edward came into it somewhere and a Mr. Gardner.
Know him.
I couldn't quite make out what he was on about.
He's a damn pest.
Do you get many funny phone calls there?
Only from this fellow. He's trying to get rid of 2.5 acres of cucumber.
Oh, God help us all. He said to sell, tell Mr. Smith that things weren't too good on the farm.
And with him running the place, I'm not surprised.
Mr. Smith in that line of business then?
No, he drives a taxi.
Ooh, lovely. Cyril and I are at the dressmaking caper.
Oh, remember that.
Oh, yes, we'll take care of you, lovey.
Ooh.
Little evening frock, lovely afternoon number. Trouble with Cyril is, he can't bear to part with most of them.
Well, I'll go out with you.
That won't get you anywhere, dear.
I'm sorry, Sal. All the doors were open.
Oh, were they?
Yes, Detective Sergeant Waterhouse.
Wimbledon Police.
No, Streatham, actually.
Streatham?
Yes, just to respond to checking that's all, standing official.
Oh, yes?
Concerning a namesake of yours.
Of mine?
Bit of a surprise, eh, Mr. Smith?
Oh, no. Yes.
But it's all rather a coincidence, really. You see, this other Mr. Smith is a taxi driver too.
No.
Only he lives in Streatham.
No.
John Smith, 47 Lewin Road, Streatham, SW16.
No!
Yeah, I thought you'd be surprised. I just come from talking to him.
No! Bloody hell.
It's a bit of a surprise.
Yes.
But, anyway, I know I expect you're wondering what I want from you.
I am, rather, yes.
Well, it's just confirmation, really, of the cause of your head. Injury?
Oh, yes. I'm a very quick healer. It's very tender throughout here.
Oh, not surprising, it must have been quite a blow you received.
Well, they made them very solid in the 16th century.
Handbags?
I thought one of the men said it was an antique.
Antique handbag.
Of course! He must have been referring to the woman when he said I was hit by an old bag.
Yes, well, what you say seems to verify all the
Does
evidence.
it? Well, good. If you excuse me then, Sergeant, I was just about to go to bed.
Bed?
Well, yes, it's Wednesday morning, NWW.
NWW.
Yes, Nookie with wife. Oh! There you are, darling! Hello! Nothing's been going on since you've been gone, Mary. Absolutely nothing. No, I was just about to leave and give you this note.
Dear Mary, everything is okay. Suggest you go to bed for the rest of the afternoon. See you soon. All the best. Yours, Stanley.
Standing room only. NWW. Oh, sorry, forgot to introduce you. This is Detective Sergeant.
Porterhouse, Streatham.
Right, Detective Sergeant Porterhouse Stretton.
No, just Porterhouse. I'm from Streatham.
Right, Stretton, right round the corner.
Is it about John?
Yes, it is.
Oh, is John all right?
Yes, I think so.
Have you spoken to him then?
Yes, thanks.
Yes.
When?
Wait, what?
When did you talk to John?
Oh, just now.
Just now?
Yes, it must have been. Well, it was, wasn't it?
Yes.
Where?
Where what, dear?
Where did you talk to John?
I was standing here and...
Standing about there.
Well, where is he now?
Who'd like a nice cup of tea?
My husband, where is he?
Yes, where is he? What's his position? Where does he stand with the police?
Stanley.
Stanley's gone to school, dear. Yes, I gave the chap his cornflakes and saw him onto the bus.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing! I'm fine. You're fine. You're happy too, aren't you?
I'm quite satisfied, Mrs. Smith, now that I've talked to him.
Him?
Yes, he wants a little chat. We had a little chat. Everything's okay
Will you
now.
just stay out of this for 1 minute?
I'm only trying to help.
Well, you're not helping.
Oh.
Oh, is that the paper?
Oh, yes.
Is there anything in it? I lost my pocket?
Yes, on the front page.
Oh,
you for a husband, Mrs. Smith.
Oh, it's a dreadful picture. Kind of awful.
Yes.
Mind you, John doesn't look too good either.
No.
Ah! For you.
Why can't I be a real boy in Japan? I'm going to be out the wood, Pinocchio. I'm not like Shut up, Pinocchio!
Now, what were you saying, Sergeant?
Have you been drinking?
I don't think he said that. What did he say? That's a very good idea. How about that cup of tea, dear?
Oh, don't you dare me!
Very sorry about this. We've had a lot going on this morning.
Stanley!
Stanley won't be home till after school, dear.
What?
Unless they've kept him in again. Naughty Stanley.
Don't think for me, thank you.
I'm going to remain quite calm now.
That's a very good idea.
Is there something you're not telling me about my husband?
I don't think so, no.
No!
You shut up!
I don't think you should talk to me like that, dear.
Look, I will go upstairs or push off to the joke center!
If you're having a domestic discussion, I'll be on my way.
That's a good idea.
No, you stay right there, Sergeant. You upstairs.
No, you'll make a phone call.
Out! I'll have you bloody well evicted!
We play this little game every Wednesday.
Mrs. Smith, I don't think you should have sent him packing like that.
He's a bloody nuisance!
Yeah, we all have these little rifts. Days been strange. But you and he will be all right after a kiss and cuddle.
A kiss and cuddle!
Oh, never fails. Just do what you were planning to do and spend the morning together in bed.
I was planning no such thing!
But he was.
Oh, was he? But I assure you, the last thing I do is jump into bed with that moron!
Sorry to hear that.
I don't indulge in that sort of thing.
Sorry to hear that too.
What kind of a wife do you think I am?
I really don't know.
Once you start that commitment, you've got no marriage left at all.
Well, it takes all sorts, I suppose.
Yes,
I'm surprised he ended up with little Stanley.
I don't intend to end up with little Stanley.
Oh dear.
Well, the way he's been acting this morning, I think the sooner he is put away, the better.
No. The little fella needs physical love and lots of it. I can see my wife could teach you a thing or two.
Right, well, if I can just verify what's happened to my husband.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, he's clarified the situation.
Yes, but you said you'd spoken to him, and I'd like to know where he is.
Well, he's upstairs, isn't he?
Well, what's John doing up there?
Well, isn't that where he went?
To see Stanley?
I thought Stanley was at school.
Hello?
Oh, thank goodness.
John! Where are you?
Oh, never mind that. Is everything all right?
Yes, sort of. There's a police sergeant here, but it's all right.
A policeman?
Yes, from Streatham.
Oh.
Do you want to talk to him?
No, thank you.
Yes, Miss Martin's quite happy.
Oh, good. Is Stanley about?
I think Stanley's been drinking. He's on drugs.
Well, he's had a lot to contend with this morning, darling.
You know, the sooner he leaves here and shuts up with that girlfriend of his, the better.
All right. I'm on my way home right now.
All right, go straight to bed.
Great. I'll be 5 minutes.
Right, 5 minutes.
Well, I'm pleased to see that you and your husband have patched it up.
Patch what up?
Oh, that's it. No harbor grudges. That's what's kept me and my missus together for 20 years. Well, I'll be on my way, Mrs. Smith. No bother to see me out.
I'm so sorry if it's been a bit hectic around here this morning.
All in a day's work. Oh, and by the way, Mrs. Smith, word of advice about Stanley. Just take his trousers down and give him a treat.
I found you right
Oh, sorry, darling.
I've been waiting in that restaurant for 10 minutes.
Well, I went out to look for you. We must have just missed each other.
Honestly.
Did you the police?
What police?
Just now.
No, it wasn't the police.
Wasn't it?
No, we've got new neighbours upstairs. They wanted some milk.
Oh, you mean the police haven't been here yet?
Not that I know of. Not since I saw it this morning.
Oh, dear.
Now, I'm going to make some coffee and then sit quietly for 5 minutes and read the paper.
No, don't let's hang around here. After lunch, we'll read the papers, go to bed, and have a lovely...
What on earth's the matter?
What's the matter with what?
You look at the front page about the died.
Yes.
Oh, something awful's happened, hasn't it?
Yes, the Queen is expecting a baby. Oh, yes, that's what Mr. Queen says.
Let's have a look.
No!
Oh, don't be silly.
Well, it's my newspaper.
Actually, it's mine.
No, I bought it. I want it. I did it!
What in God's name are you doing?
Reading the newspaper.
Darling, you must be something to do.
Door's open. I told you I'd get familiar.
That's okay.
Oh, and you must be this lovely lady. Am I interrupting anything? Oh, no. It's all right. Don't rush it. Bobby Franklin, I'm from upstairs. Nice to meet you. No.
I'm sorry about this.
No. I'm all for something different. Thanks for the chocolate cake, by the way. It's just that I've never actually seen anybody eat. That is newspaper, isn't it?
Yes, it's newspaper.
All right. Well, I better head back upstairs to Cyril. Poor cow's up to his eyes in paint. Good luck with the diet. Is that today's? Nice and fresh.
What the hell are you up to? Oh, get some coffee to wash it down. I don't know what that Mr. Franklin must think.
Mr. Smith! You certainly get around in that taxi of yours, Mr. Smith. Oh, eating something that disagreed with you? No hurry. Take your time. Once you've pulled yourself together, you can explain what you're doing, can't you?
I think I ought to tell you something.
Good.
It's about this flat.
Yes.
It's mine.
Yours?
Yes.
Well, you didn't say anything about back when I saw you earlier this morning. at your other flat in Wimbledon,
No.
even when I mentioned to you that there was a John Smith who resided in a flat in Streatham?
No.
Slipped your memory, did it?
No. There is no other John Smith. Only me.
I see.
Both flats are mine.
I see.
But Mary, Mrs. Smith, doesn't know I have this flat.
I see.
Yes, this little place I keep for,
Collecting stamps?
something like that, yes. My little, den where I go for peace and quiet.
Ah, yeah, that's what I reckon too. I reckon you got some little piece here you want to keep quiet about. I reckon you're leading a double life.
No.
Hey, the door's locked.
That's my daily help. Yes, sweet little girl. Get on with your work, Barbara. I'll be with you in a minute, Barbara.
Open the door, you silly fool.
They are so bloody cheeky these days.
Hey!
No locker in, she gets nothing done. Now you get on with your work, Barbara.
Very nice. Being able to afford a daily.
She's more like a weekly, you know, a couple of hours. Not expensive. Oh, I'll get it.
Oh no, allow me. I'd rather you stayed here, Mr. Smith. Don't want you wandering off again, do we? Bumping your head again, do we?
Oh, coming, darling. Oh, coming.
What the blazes are you playing
Oh,
at?
I was knocking around, darling.
What's come over you?
It's frustration. Come on.
What?
I want us both to go to bed now and have really crazy sex.
I thought we were going out to lunch.
No, to hell with that. I feel right dandy.
Oh, it's all the other newspaper you've eaten.
No, whatever it is, I don't want to waste it.
Oh, can we have a coffee first?
No, we'll save it for after. Now you go on and get yourself stripped, you gorgeous animal.
Oh, hang on. Did the doorbell go just now?
Oh, yes, I'll see them off then. You get into bed. And don't start without me.
Well, look who's arrived. It's Mr. Gardner.
Terribly sorry about this, John.
Oh, no.
I expect he thinks this is the labor exchange, does he?
I suppose the game is up.
Oh, God almighty.
But it's all right, Stanley. I couldn't expect to get away with it forever.
You don't have to say anything, sir.
No, I want to.
If there's any criminal offence involved, Mr. Smith, you might care to speak to your solicitor.
Oh, bloody hell!
Oh, don't worry, Stanley. You'll be all right.
It's you I'm worried about.
Oh, that's noble, Stanley. Considering your position.
My position?
Then we don't need a solicitor. It's not illegal anymore, is it, Stanley?
What is it?
Oh, shall I tell him or will you?
Tell me what?
Oh, I thought you guessed, Sergeant.
Guess what?
The reason for me having two flats. Stan and I are like that.
Like what?
We're that way inclined.
What do you mean, sir?
Oh, come on now, you. Sergeant, this dear man, flat above Mrs. Smith and myself. Well, it was love at first sight, wasn't it, Stanley? He's choked. Oh, well, of course I thought it. God knows I thought it. I'd always been straight, you see. Stan is queer from way back. Finally, well, I succumbed. Of course, I soon realized I couldn't go on deceiving my dear wife in our own home, so Stan and I found this little place here, our little love nest.
I don't know what to say.
I do! Look, I'm sorry, John.
No more than I am, darling.
I've done my best!
And I've no complaints, precious.
I am not gay!
Well, I'm not too happy about it either. It's a very delicate situation. I mean, if my Mary discovered I was a, you know, AC/DC.
AC/DC?
Oh, don't get in a tizzy, Stanley. Oh, that's Barbara again, cleaning the bedroom. I let the locker in as usual, Stanley. Staff is such a headache these days. Now you stop that and get on with cleaning the toilet.
Get off!
You'll have to speak with her, Stanley. You're the only one she'll listen to. I've got Mr. Gardner with me. You know, Mr. Gardner.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
You mean that funny fellow?
Oh, that's the one. Don't bother Mr. Gardner and I for a moment, Barbara.
What's he doing here?
Oh, don't let it upset you, Barbara.
Has he brought his cucumber with him?
Barbara doesn't really approve of Stanley. She's very straight, and with him being rather bent. Leave Mr. Gardner and I on our own for a moment, Barbara.
I will.
Look, I would like to say
And
categorically.
you said it very well, Stanley. Oh, he's been practicing.
Well, I think I'd better be going.
Oh, must you?
Yes. It seems that I put 2 and 2 together and somehow made it come up 5.
We all make mistakes, and there won't be any need for this to go any further, will there?
No, I suppose not.
Oh, Stan and I would be awfully grateful, wouldn't we, Ducky? Ow!
And Mr. Smith, I think you should really get back home to your wife.
Mary?
Yes. You'll probably be needed there to look after her. She's had some very distressing news.
Has she?
Yes, sir, about her grandparents.
Her grandparents?
Mr. Gardner knows all about it. He was there when Mrs. Smith received the sad tidings.
What sad tidings exactly?
Shall I tell him, sir, or will you?
I don't care who tells him.
That seems a bit callous.
I feel callous.
Well, look here, just because you and Mrs. Smith are rivals for his affection,
Hang on! What exactly has happened to Mary's grandparents?
they fell over the edge of a mountain, sir.
A mountain?
Yes, sir, the Canadian Rockies.
The Rockies?
Yes, sir.
I didn't even know they left Sydney.
Sydney?
They've been staying with her brother Sidney. Sidney lives in Cincinnati.
Start at the beginning, please.
I'm afraid they're both dead, sir.
Mary's grandparents?
Yes, sir.
Both of them?
Yes, sir, on a hiking holiday, apparently. It must come as a bit of a shock.
It does. Mary's grandfather's been in a wheelchair for 25 years.
But apparently his wife would push him anywhere.
Anyway, at a time like this, Mr. Smith, you probably want to be home with your wife.
Oh, yes, of course. It would have knocked her sideways. It certainly has me. I'll get Mr. Gardner to fill me in on a few more details. And I'll hurry straight back to Mary.
Yes, and if I were you, sir, I'd stay with Mary. Hello?
Is that 674-3105?
Yes? Detective Sergeant Trotton speaking.
Oh, good. Well, I got straight through this time. It's Mary Smith speaking.
Mrs. Smith?
From Penelton Avenue. You
Yes, I remember. I thought you said your wife didn't know anything about this place.
She doesn't!
Look, I think I can explain it.
Hello?
Sorry, Mrs. Smith. Somebody was interrupting.
Trouble on the line again.
Beg your pardon.
Well, the last time I dialed this number, all I got was funny breathing.
Funny breathing. I see.
Look, I think she's got
Shut
home.
up and sit down.
I'm ringing because I'm a bit worried about my husband's behavior.
What? Mr. Smith's behavior?
What's she saying?
You shut up as well, Tinkerbell.
Yes, he's been acting very, very queer just lately.
Weird. I see. I think she may have sussed you out.
He rang me to say he'd be home in less than 5 minutes, and that was almost 20 minutes ago. And I'm just anxious with everything else that's happened this morning.
Yes, but I'm wondering why you're ringing this number.
Well, actually, I think I can explain
Shut up!
I'm ringing because of my husband.
Because of your... Oh, yes, your cover's been
Hello?
my darlings.
Hello?
Yes, Mrs. Smith.
Yes, Sergeant? I'm ringing because of my husband.
Because of your husband?
Yes.
I see.
Is this your number?
What? My number?
Yes! Isn't this a good place to get you?
What, me? Here?
Yes! You and the men.
What men?
Or the men you have under you.
Hey?
Don't you all operate from there?
Now, wait a minute, Mrs. Smith. Now, don't you try and implicate me in your husband's activities.
I thought that's what you were paid to do.
Well, I'm not.
Suppose it's too little a thing for you to handle.
Oh, that's lovely, that is. I'm not going to listen to this anymore.
Just ring up, I'll just
Hello?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Smith, but there's far too much smearing of the police going on these days. I'm an absolutely straight and normal officer, I am. And it's not my fault if your husband and Mr. Gardner are a couple of pansies.
Pansies?
I'm sad to say that your suspicions are correct. Mr. Gardner's one from way back, and your husband's just turned.
Just turned?
Yes!
But John smokes a pipe.
I don't care if he smokes kippers. He's a Nancy.
My God!
Oh, well, it must come as a bit of a shock to you, but then you were already onto them, weren't you?
John and Stanley.
Yes, I'm with them both now. They've admitted to it.
You're with them now?
Yes.
Well, you haven't arrested them though, have you?
Well, no. No, it's not illegal, is it?
Then why are they at the police station?
No. They're at their flat in Streatham. 47 Lewin Road, Streatham, SW16. Hello? Hello? Mrs. Smith? And your wife seems to... Oi! Now where do you think you're off to, girls?
I think I ought to go home and comfort my wife.
And I think I ought to find someone to comfort me.
The best place you can go is abroad.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
I'm going back to the station to make my report.
Look, I think someone should tell him that he's got hold of the wrong end of the stick.
Oh.
That's one way of putting it. It seems to me Mr. Smith had a perfectly happy and normal marriage until you came mincing into his life.
You rotten devil!
Oh, shut up! What about me? He just told my wife I'm a pansy.
He told her I was one too! He thinks I'm a practicing homosexual!
Well, if you're only practicing.
He's gonna put it in a report! It'll be a police report that I'm a poo!
Shut up a minute.
I'll probably be inundated.
Stop thinking about yourself. He gave Mary this address. Oh, I've got to ring her and tell her I'm on my way home to explain.
Homosexual? My God, I have a hard enough time convincing some people I'm a homo sapien!
If you'd stayed in Wimbledon, none of this would have happened.
You are so ungrateful. I keep to tell you your picture's in the paper.
I know.
I had to tear it down.
Everybody will eat it up.
Really? Why didn't you simply confess?
I was doing all right till you started helping me. Oh, there's no answer. She's probably fainted.
Hey, John!
Your help is getting difficult.
Hold on a second, darling.
What is going on?
You haven't met my farming friend, Mr. Gardner, have you?
No.
Oh, Mr. Gardner was just leaving. Wasn't it sweet of Stanley to drive over?
Yes.
Yes, we've had lovely chats. Do you know his Jersey cow has still not discovered a mate?
Really?
Yes, why do you think that is, Mr. Gardner?
Maybe all the Staffordshire bulls are gay.
Yes, goofy bulls could be. Well, I'm sorry, I can't really advise you. It's not really my line of country.
I'd be very grateful if you'd stop involving him. We're not interested in farming.
Well, who the hell is?
Don't worry, Stanley. My wife doesn't mean to be rude.
Yes, I do. This is supposed to be our day off together, and you seem more keen to spend it discussing bloody cattle with Stanley. Right. I'm going to bed. You can either join me or go back to Stanley's farm and bed down with him. That's probably one of your own pals now.
Now look what you've done! Me? Yes! You've ruined both my marriages!
The only person rude around here is me! And
sent over 2 gallons of red paint, my dear. The bloody million. Oh, I'm sorry to intrude, Ducky. I told you I'd get familiar. Finished with the newspaper, have you?
Yes.
What did you have for dessert, Reader's Digest? Hello.
Hello.
Mr. Gardner is a farming friend of my husband.
Ah, yes, King Edward. Pleased to meet you, Your Highness.
Thank you.
It's no joke, my dear. Red paint all over the bathroom floor. I'm worried it may be coming through your ceiling.
No, I'm sure it won't.
No, but I'm sure that our bathroom must be above yours.
Well, it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't
I
know.
tell you what, I'll go upstairs and I'll bang on our bathroom floor, and you listen. Your bathroom is probably directly beneath.
It's all right.
But you don't want it seeping through, dear. Especially if you're sitting in the tub. Bobby will get it.
I may as well be pushing off now as well.
Oh, must you?
Good idea. You might care to give me a ring later. Let me know how things are down at the farm.
Oh, yes. Do keep up the bulletin.
Gentlemen all the way out, said go right in. Sergeant Porterhouse again, sir.
Yes, Porterhouse from Streatham.
Yes, I'm sorry to barge in once again, sir.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, yes, the more the merrier. I shall be again.
Well, I don't think that'll be necessary.
It'll be all right. What can I do for you, Sergeant?
Well, I thought that, oh.
Yeah. We have a visitor.
Oh, we've met.
Mr. Smith!
Yes?
No, the other Mr. Smith.
Other Mr. Smith?
Your namesake from Wimbledon.
Oh, yes, Mr. Smith just was dropping in to introduce himself.
Yes, dropped in, landed here.
Well, I think you were surprised when this gentleman turned up.
I was actually, yes.
So nonsense. Taxi drivers, operation of crane. It's $1 million to 1 chance.
Yes, it's almost unbelievable.
Yes! Well, it's all okay. Mr. Smith here verified the situation vis-a-vis the mix-up of the names at the hospital.
Oh, thanks, Sir John.
Oh! So, no problems.
No problems, no. Thanks for calling.
I'm sorry I arrived at that slightly inopportune moment, Mr. Smith. He was planning to get Mrs. Smith into bed.
Was he?
I'm sure you can understand it was a very delicate situation.
Well, we're used to dealing with domestic squabbles. But as I told Mrs. Smith after you'd gone, don't take it out on Stanley.
Wait, hang on a second.
Stanley's my little boy.
Ah!
Mine and Mary's.
Ah!
Little Stanley.
Little Stanley, yes.
I decided to give you 5 minutes to join me
Oh,
today.
darling, we've got visitors.
Oh, don't mind me, I'm broad-minded. Must be catching Wednesday morning NWW.
Are you staying long, Sergeant?
I'm just on my way, Mrs. Smith. I bet you got a surprise too when this gentleman turned up.
Nothing he does would surprise me.
Well, with them having so much in common.
And don't tell me bollocks!
Beg pardon.
I'll be with you in a moment, darling. Less than 5 minutes.
And in that time, perhaps you could determine the future of your relationship with Stanley.
His relationship with Stanley.
Yes, it's very easy to explain, actually.
Mrs. Smith and I were suggesting to the other Mr. Smith that he may care to have little Stanley fostered with us here.
Foster!
Just a suggestion.
Are things as bad as all that?
Yes, and getting worse.
I guess it must be the best thing for the little lad.
Yes. I'll see you out.
Yes,
Oh, on second thought, Sergeant, I'm sure you would like a cup of tea. Oh, tea? Yes, Mr. Smith. Why don't you take the sergeant into the kitchen and put the kettle on while I go to the front door and deal with whoever that may be.
Good now. Really nice statue, sir.
After you then, Sergeant.
Oh, right here. We'll have a good old chat over a coffee, and you tell me all about your problems with little Stanley.
Little Stanley's likely to get arrested for bloody murder.
Stanley! Stanley's at bloody school! Stanley's father, Mr. Smith.
What is it?
May I have a little word, Mr. Smith?
No.
Won't keep Mr. Smith a second, Sergeant. Help yourself to sandwiches. Disaster! Mary!
Mary, what about her?
Outside! I went to answer the bell, open the front door. Mary!
What did you do?
I nearly died!
What did she do?
She didn't have the time to do anything. I slammed the door in her face.
I don't think she got the hint.
No! Did she look cross? Oh, she looked like a woman who'd just been told her husband was a pansy.
Yes, I can imagine that look.
Oh, you'll have to deal with her, Stanley.
Me? But she thinks I'm the one who turned you.
Well, anything's better than her finding out about Barbara. Oh, maybe I can sneak out the back way.
No, that's no good.
That's the best I can think
Oh,
of.
no, she's already seen you.
You deal with it.
Oh, no, don't say deal with it.
Right, rock the dance routine for a moment.
Of course, sweetie. Mr. Gardner was just showing me how his potato grading machine works. Fascinating!
I don't know if you or Mr. Gardner have noticed, but there's someone at the front door.
Yes, I've seen them off.
They don't seem to be aware of that.
No, I've been out to see them twice. Damn nuisance, aren't they?
Is it?
Oh, you might well ask.
I am asking.
Yes. It's nun.
A nun?
Yes, from that convent on the other side of the Streatham Common.
What does she want?
Collecting for charity. I've got an idea.
I've got a better one. I'll do the tea. You do the nun.
Maybe the nun is like to join you for a cup of tea.
I'll sort her out.
Hang on, like so far. I'll go.
No, if she sees you, she'll hit the roof. I'll tell her 2 donations is all she's going to
Does
get.
it have to be as firm with Mr. Gardner?
Oh, yes.
If you don't come to bed, my man. Right. Now, yes, I will go and stay in a hotel by myself.
If you do, could you go out the back way?
Now, just hold your horses there, Mary.
I've been at that front door for ages!
Yes, but you found the back way in.
Now what's going on here? And what are you and John doing in Streatham? And what's all this about you being a pansy?
One question at a time, please.
Are you all right, Mrs. Smith?
No, I am not! I want to know what my husband is doing in this flat!
Well, I'm sure it'd be only too pleased to tell you.
Yes, of course you would.
John slammed the door in my face!
Oh, did he?
John did!
I heard you.
I think now would be a very good time for that cup of tea, Sergeant.
Yes, all right, but listen to me, Mrs. Smith. I think what's being proposed here could solve all your problems.
And what exactly is being proposed here?
That Stanley comes to live here with Mr. Smith.
Just make the tea!
You crafty, scheming little ferret! Here I am thinking John's out late driving his taxi every night, and he's shacking up in Streatham with you!
It's all right, she's gone. Hello, darling.
Oh, go on, it's Stanley's turn now!
She's a bit upset.
Oh, dear, now tell me all about it on the way home.
You are bloody home, aren't you?
Not so loud, darling.
Hey!
Who is that?
Sort of person, that's all. Oh, it's all right. I'm just dealing with the lady who was at the front door.
I don't care what you're doing! Open this door now!
I think I've lost the key.
No, you haven't. You've locked me in again!
Right off we go, darling.
Oh, what in God's name is going on here?
Here, I'll help you.
tonight if you like. I hope you collect more from him than I have. Don't you normally have a habit?
Oh, I'm sorry. How do you do?
How do you do? Yes, excuse me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What in earth was that?
That was Lofty.
Lofty?
Yes, Lofty. He's a transvestite.
Transvestite?
A fellow who dresses up in women's clothes.
I know what a transvestite is.
Oh, good.
That was a man.
Yes, yes. Lofty is really amazing when he dolls himself up.
And he's gonna go out on the street dressed like that.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Yes. Lofty's a friend of Stanley's.
Lofty is not a friend of Stanley's. Lofty is a friend of your husband.
Well, let's just say we share him, Stanley. Share him! I don't him, Stanley. I mean, poor Mary's had enough shocks for one day, haven't you, darling?
Done well how? You've never shown any of these kinky sides at home.
I haven't had the time.
I don't think I'm so surprised about you, Stanley.
Are you all deaf or what?
Some other time.
Well, what about my banging? Cyril and I just banging away up their babies, tapping away like Fred Astaire in Ginger.
Never mind.
But it must be seeping through. Hello. You're new around here, aren't you?
Yes.
I'm from upstairs.
How do you do?
Very well, thank you. That's a very lovely dress, if I may say so.
Yes, well, it's mine.
Come back later.
Well, late, maybe too late, sunshine. I'm telling you, 2 gallons of red paint slurping about up there.
Be all right.
No, not the way Cyril's going at it. He's trying to soak it up with that silly little makeup sponge of his. And I tell you, our bathroom must be above yours. Yours is through here,
No,
is
no,
it?
no, I'm sure it will come through.
Right, keys up! No, I'm not superstitious, I'll pour.
And what exactly are you doing here?
Oh, don't worry, it's not official anymore. I'm just being a good fairy.
You may want to rephrase that.
Well, if you'll excuse me, I will not stay for tea. I must use your bathroom. I've got to satisfy myself.
He is not with us.
Tea,
Oh, gee, yes, right, yes,
No tea for me, thank you.
Oh, and what about Mrs. Smith?
I said no tea for me, thank you.
Oh, I meant the other Mrs. Smith.
What other Mrs. Smith?
He means
The one who lives here.
he means Lofty.
Oh, that's very nice. Mrs. Smith?
Lofty. I like it.
Has he met Lofty?
Yes.
All dolled up.
Yes. Oh, you're Lofty. Yes. You know what I call mine?
Yours?
Yeah, well, mine been together longer than Mr. Smith and his Lofty.
No sugar for me, thank you.
We've had 20 years of it. I call mine gruesome. It's just a joke, of course.
Oh, God, is everybody at it?
It's only a little silly story, that's all.
A story!
Yes, it's a story game. Yes. 2 lumps for me, please.
Yes, but you know, I think my wife actually has grown quite fond of Lofty.
Your wife wasn't mine?
No, of course not. She's got a name for me.
I bet she has.
Guess what it is?
Cynthia?
No. Pussy.
Why? Pussy.
She reckons I'm always purring.
Yes, but with such an understanding wife, I'm not surprised.
Oh, she's lovely.
And she's perfectly happy about gruesome?
we have to learn to adjust when there are difficulties.
Oh, you see? As you see?
I don't think I'm prepared to adjust as much as Pussy's wife has.
Here's the cake. Now, I'd like nothing more than to see Mr. Smith kiss and make up with his lofty, and for you to have that morning in bed with him.
And you think that would give me a happy marriage, do you?
Oh, definitely, Mrs. Smith.
Well, I think you're a professional poof!
Mrs. Smith is a bit upset, Sergeant. Remember her grandparents?
That was the other sergeant.
Was it? Yes!
Why did you mention them?
Well, I thought he would remember them, but of course he wouldn't because he told the other one.
Why does Mrs. Smith call me a perverted old poof?
Because she's upset about her grandparents.
John said they were okay!
They are. They're staying with your brother Sidney.
My brother, Sidney.
Sidney lives in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati! Yes! Stanley's potty!
Is he still using one of those? Deal with it, sir.
Pull yourself together, Mrs.
Simply Stanley's potty that's in the wall.
Pouring through your bathroom ceiling.
What's wrong with her? She's having hysterics.
Where's the cereal?
Oh, just the coffee you're paying
I'll
now.
get the bucket from your kitchen. Excuse me now.
Who the hell was that?
From upstairs.
Shall I ring for a doctor?
No, our friend here should take her home.
Anywhere.
I've got those pills the hospital gave me. No, they're only for headaches. They can't do any harm. Go get some water, will you?
One more dance and I really must go. Who's that?
The police.
Oh God, help someone else while.
Water!
Water, yes.
Two should be okay.
What?
Drink this and swallow these.
And drink this one of those.
No!
Oh, how many did she take?
Oh, about a dozen.
Oh, bloody hell!
Make her sick. What? Make her sick. Where's the bathroom?
This is through there.
Okay, good job. I need 1, 2, 3. I've got
Back.
Oh God, it's an orgy.
She swallowed some pills.
Make her sick.
Well, thank you. Saltwater, Mrs. Smith.
Saltwater,
And
right?
bicarbonate of soda and vinegar.
She'll explode.
Oh, who had you told me, Mrs. Smith?
All right, yes.
Excuse me, are you still as well?
Don't you bloody start.
There we go, dear. That's it.
Hello,
Mrs. Smith.
That's it, Mrs.
You're
Smith.
all right.
We're all right,
All
Mrs.
right,
Smith.
dear.
That's right, Mrs. Smith. I am doing fine. All I want is a room
Of course.
somewhere.
Hello. Lottie. You're supposed to be staying in a hotel.
Oh, well, it's kind of silly, really, darling.
No, great idea. I'll join you there later.
Hang on. What is going on here?
Nothing doing.
There seems to be something doing in the bedroom.
Bedroom?
Yes, the police sergeant just carried the nun through there.
Yes, I'd forgotten. She had a bit of a come over.
Oh, how awful. Oh, what's that on?
We wouldn't donate. Yes, she became hysterical and then felt sick.
Not.
Yes, a sort of religious relapse.
What's that father doing?
Oh, well, lucky he was still here. He's a bit of a vet.
And Mr. Franklin from upstairs? He looked like he'd been giving a blood transfusion.
Oh, well, he's here with the paint that's seeping through the ceiling.
Woman's work is never done. There you are. All hell simply broke loose here, darling.
So I've been told.
I'm absolutely abject about the pain.
Don't worry.
Oh, you'll worry all right when you see that bathroom. It's like Sweeney Todd Cellar in there.
John, you should really come and do something about it. Hi, Lofty. You're supposed to be in a hotel.
How's your nun?
My what? Sister Mary. Oh,
The hills are alive with the sound of
Mary. Is she feeling better? I'm afraid she is.
Oh, did she explain why she wasn't wearing the usual sort of get-up?
Usual? Oh, yes, she's unorthodox, isn't she? Very. Good.
She's swearing up a storm. Oh, hello, Mrs. Smith.
Oh, how is she?
Oh, she's not feeling very good, actually. Do you think she could rest up on your bed for a
Oh,
minute?
certainly.
That wasn't a very good idea.
Why not?
I don't want his Mrs. Smith getting violent with my Mrs. Smith, or my Mrs. Smith getting violent with his Mrs.
Why
Smith.
would either of them get violent?
Oh, don't you try any of your fun and games with me, Lottie.
What on earth did I do?
You took off my dress.
Yes, but it was so I could get you into bed.
Blimey, talk about ambidextrous.
It's all a bit of a misunderstanding. Do you want to put that in writing?
I'll sort out the dress.
Oh, it won't fit you, pussy.
Relax.
Yes. You relax, sister.
Don't you call me sister.
She's probably still a novice. You
In this company, I bloody well am.
There it is.
Go to the vice squad and see you lot.
I'm certain that her behavior all stems from her relationship with Stanley.
Too true.
Oh, do you know Stanley?
Yes, I do. But don't worry, you can keep him.
Oh, no. You must think seriously before you have the little lad adopted.
I'll drive you to the convent.
No one to go to a convent for.
And I am convinced that Stanley is at the bottom of all this.
Too bloody true, pussy.
Is this all because you couldn't give her a donation?
Oh, what he gives me is a damn sight more natural than
Sister
what
Mary, please.
Sister, is Mr. Smith your brother?
Is this how she was behaving before?
Yes.
No, it's obviously disturbing her, this unorthodox business.
Oh, yeah, that's what I reckon. It's not natural for these two agreeing to have no sex.
Excuse me a minute.
Sergeant, really? That was very delicate.
Well, that's her trouble. Not getting her rations.
No, she doesn't need any rations. She's married to him.
They're divorced now.
Your wife used to be married to the fellow who lives upstairs.
Yes.
You mean him?
Surprising, isn't it?
Amazing. Is Stanley his son or yours?
His.
So you're Stanley's stepfather.
Yes, on my mother's side.
Well, that explains Stanley's psychological problems.
I'll tell Mr. Smith you'd like to see him.
Thanks. Sorry to interrupt your cleaning. Still here, I see.
Yes, it's becoming a way of life, actually.
May I ask who you are?
May I ask who you are?
But he did ask you first, actually.
Who are you?
I'm a
Police officer. Let's try this again. I'm Detective Sergeant Chotton, Wimbledon CID.
Oh, well, I'm Detective Sergeant Porterhouse, Streatham CID.
Oh. Are you here in an official capacity?
Sort of semi. And you?
Sort of semi. So, you're from Streatham, you say?
That's right.
May I see your identification, please?
Certainly. I don't seem to have it on me. But as I said, it's only semi-official.
I see.
May I see your identification, please?
Certainly. Mrs. Smith?
Thank God you're here!
Well, I only came to tell Mr. Smith we wouldn't be taking the matter any further.
Oh, take it as far as you like. This is a right porno place, this is.
Porno
I
place?
know a little about Mrs. Smith's situation, Sergeant. The poor girl's got this obsession with sex.
Oh, hark who's talking, pussy!
She's put herself off, you see.
Well, it's a pity you haven't.
It's all very understandable.
Well, I'd like you to remain silent until I've checked you out.
Yes!
Me out?
Yes! Ask him about his dance routine with Bruce on.
Oh, for God's sake, there's all hello, Sergeant.
Good morning again, Mr. Smith.
That sister hit me.
Oh, and you'll get another one if you try and touch me again,
Is
Lofty.
that lady your sister?
Lady, go on, show us your boobs, I
Hang on.
Let's just ring the Mother Superior and get her out of here.
Mother who?
I'm staying where I am, Lofty.
This little Stanley and her ex-husband, that's the cause of all this.
I've asked you to be quiet, sir.
Are you a police officer?
Yes, I am.
May I say something?
No, you may not, Mr. Gardner.
Let me Mr. Smith say something.
No, he may not, Mr. Gardner.
Why are you calling Mr. Smith Mr. Gardner?
Shut up.
You just called him Mr. Smith.
Yes, he's a taxi driver from Wimbledon.
Taxi driver.
And he's a farmer from Gatwick.
A farmer.
He's a pansy from way back.
Well, if Stanley's stepfather is pansy as well, well, that would affect the little lad.
Now look, I intend to make some sense out of this. Mr. Smith,
That's me.
and him, belt up.
Well, there's two of them.
I can see that. Two Smiths. That's their cover-up for the homosexual activities going on here.
What homosexual activities?
Oh, you take the cake, Lofty.
The homosexual activities between him and him.
What?
They've admitted to it.
But they've only just met.
Yes, and I introduced them.
I'm beginning to see where you fit in, pussy.
Why don't you say something?
Yes, say something. I'm trying to think of something.
Oh, I bet you two have been meeting on that farm for ages.
Yes, eat your heart out.
I want to confess. You confess already now. Shut up. Proper confession. Let him decide the proper. Don't be more happy. Oh, everybody knows that.
And what the devil's the matter with you?
My lovely John.
Your lovely John. Have you been giving the cleaning lady one as well?
Cleaning lady? You mean the handyman? That's what you get trying to steal my John from me.
Well, how could I steal him from a nun?
A nun? Is that what you've been saying about me? Just because I like my sex normal?
Mary.
Where the hell can you go after farmers and nuns?
Oh, that's it. The whole bloody ceiling's in the bath now.
And who the bloody hell are you?
Who wants to know, sunshine?
Detective Sergeant Trotton, sunshine.
Whoopsie poo.
And where do you fit in?
Oh, I practically live here now.
I
Normally.
see. So you live upstairs, do
Yes, with Cyril.
you? Cyril.
Is Cyril
I-
Stanley's brother? I'm confused about a lot of things. But I'm sure Stanley should have been off that potty years ago.
Shut up, pussy. And what do you and Cyril do exactly?
Well, when we get around to it, we make frocks.
You make... This is a right bloody nest, it is. You, back in the bathroom.
Oh, I don't think there's much more I can do.
Do as you're told!
Bossy boots.
I think the time has come.
I think the time came hours ago.
I should have listened to you earlier, Stanley. It would have saved a lot of heartache.
Yes, well, that's what I said.
You did. You did. All right, here we go.
The truth.
Of course.
The whole truth.
And nothing but. Firstly, I would like to dispel the rumor that the young lady who just rushed out of here in a flood of tears is a nun. This is a concoction entirely of my own making. Nor is she married to Mr. Gardner, who does not have a disturbed schoolboy son named Stanley. And for those who have been led to believe otherwise, Mr. Gardner practices neither as a farmer, nor as a homosexual, nor in any combination of the two. Secondly, I wish to go on record that the charming but hysterical lady through there is neither my daily help, nor is she a transvestite. Finally, I wish to say that all the aforementioned little white lies were contrived by me for the sole purpose of covering up my guilty secret. I am married to that lady in there and live here. At the same time, I am married to the other lady and live somewhere else. Correct, Stanley?
Correct, John.
You lying bastard!
No.
Love and marriage go together like a horse and carriage. This I tell you, brother, you can't have one without the other. Love and marriage, it's an institute you can't disparage. Ask the local gentry, and they will say it's elementary. Try to separate them. It's an illusion. Try, and you will only come to this conclusion. Love and marriage go together like a horse and carriage. Dad was told by mother, you can't have one, you can't have none, you can't have one without the other.